Imagine, you are on a small fishing boat. All around you, there is nothing but an endless ocean. No land, no other ships. Suddenly, the color of the sky begins to change. Within just a few minutes, strong winds start blowing. The waves rise so high that your boat begins to look like a tiny toy in front of them. Now just imagine if at this exact moment, your boat's engine stops working and you have no way to call for help. Then how many days would you be able to survive? Most people would say 1 or 2 days. Some would say 1 week. But the story you are about to hear today, he didn't survive for just 1 week, not even just 1 month. Instead, he spent a full 438 days alive in the open ocean, without a large ship, without any modern facilities, and for many days, without clean drinking water. His name was José Salvador Alvarenga. This is not a movie. This is a completely true story. In the year 2012, Alvarenga left from the Pacific coast of Mexico, along with his young companion, to go fishing in the ocean. At that time, he had no idea at all that this journey would turn him into the center of one of the most unbelievable survival stories in the world. Alvarenga was not a new fisherman. He had been catching fish in the ocean for many years. He understood the power of the sea, but on that day, the ocean had something else planned. A young companion was with him on the boat, whose name was Ezequiel Cordoba. The two of them went out into the ocean early in the morning. Their goal was to catch as many fish as possible and return home by evening. Everything was completely normal at the beginning. The weather was clear, and the ocean was calm as well. Within just a few hours, their boat began filling up with fish. Everything was going according to plan. But then, the weather suddenly began to change. Far away in the sky, dark clouds started appearing. The wind grew stronger. The waves began rising higher. Alvarenga immediately made a decision. We have to go back. They turned the boat toward the shore, but by then it was already too late. Within just a few minutes, a terrifying storm surrounded their small boat. The rain was so heavy that they could not see even a few meters ahead. Huge waves were throwing their boat around like a toy. The engine was running at full power, but instead of moving forward, the boat was fighting against the waves. Then, the engine started to fail. Both of them tried to start it again and again, but the engine had completely stopped. Now their boat was at the mercy of the ocean. They kept trying to call for help through the radio, but the storm was so powerful that help could not reach them in time. With every passing minute, their boat was drifting farther and farther away from the shore, and they still had no idea that the most difficult battle of their lives was about to begin. The storm did not stop for many hours. When the weather finally became a little calmer, the shore had completely disappeared by then. There was nothing but ocean all around them. No ships, no land, and no easy way to survive. The food they had with them was only enough for a short time. Their supply of clean drinking water was also running very low. The biggest problem was that their boat was now without an engine, drifting wherever the ocean currents carried it. For many days, they waited for ships passing nearby, but no ship ever came into their view. The days passed, and their supplies started running out. Now the biggest question in front of them was how to survive hunger and thirst. Alvarenga started collecting rainwater, because drinking salty ocean water can make a person sick even faster. For food, they started catching raw fish. Sometimes, seabirds would land on their boat, and those birds would become their food. It was not easy, but to stay alive, they had no other choice. Every morning, they would hope that maybe someone would spot them today, but every evening, the same endless ocean and the same loneliness would be waiting for them. Time was passing slowly, but their real test was still yet to come. Many weeks had passed, but their boat was still drifting through the ocean. One day, Ezequiel refused to eat. He could no longer eat raw fish and seabirds. Slowly, his body started becoming weaker. Alvarenga kept trying to convince him, "If you don't eat, you won't survive." But Ezequiel's condition continued to get worse. After some time, he passed away. Now, on that small boat, Alvarenga was left completely alone. Nothing but the ocean surrounded him. and there was no one left to support him. For many days, he kept his companion's body on the boat because he was not mentally ready to let him go. But finally, he had to make that painful decision. He gave his companion back to the ocean. Now his fight was not only against hunger and thirst, but also against loneliness. Many times, he started talking to himself just to keep his courage alive. Every morning, he looked toward the horizon, hoping that maybe today he would see a ship. But, like every other day, today there was nothing but the ocean. Even then, he did not give up, because as long as he was breathing, there was still hope alive. Days turned into months. Alvarenga had now learned how to live with the ocean. Whenever it rained, that rain became his drinking water. Whenever he caught a fish, that became his food. And when he found nothing for many days, he had to survive without eating. Every morning he watched the sun rise, and every evening he watched it set. But there was only one hope in his mind. I will return home alive. Time continued to pass. One day, he saw something different in the distance. At first, he thought, maybe it was just an illusion caused by his eyes. But as the boat moved closer, he started seeing trees. It was truly an island. After many months, he saw land for the first time. Somehow, he got out of the boat. He barely had enough strength left to stand on his feet. Even then, he slowly kept moving forward. Some local people saw him. They immediately ran to help him. After such a long time, finally, his life was saved. Later, it was discovered that he had been drifting in the ocean for almost 438 days. This is considered one of the longest verified ocean survival events in history. His body weight had dropped significantly, but his will to survive never broke. This entire incident taught the world one thing: the human body can be strong, but the human spirit can be much stronger. If Alvarenga had given up hope, he may have never returned alive. That is why, even today, his story is counted among the world's most unbelievable true survival stories. Imagine, if you were in his place, would you survive for 438 days in the open ocean and stay alive? Tell your answer in the comment, and if you enjoy such true survival stories, don't forget to subscribe to the channel.